Hello everyone, my name is Jean-Guy. It's currently Sunday evening, March 29th, around 6:30ish p.m. My message tonight, and when I speak, I always speak to the nation, and I speak to everyone equally, every single one of us equally, and I'm going to focus on education, and I don't want to talk about cultures, I don't want to talk about government, I don't want to talk about anything in that sort. I want to talk about education and where we are today with the pandemic. And as we know, we're going to start hearing more and more about people we know of, people that are famous that have passed away. People are going to start getting sick that are going to be close to you, which is happening right now as we speak. Medical professionals, first responders are getting sicker. And this process is affecting our economy on a very large scale, and it's affecting the lives of human beings across the nation, across the globe, from ocean to ocean, from north to south. It doesn't matter. Everybody's being touched by this. And if you look at the pandemics, go way back. This is not new. Whether it's 1918, they were closing things down. Whether it's the chickenpox, measles, black plague, the Spanish flu, it doesn't matter. This is repetition. And in those pandemics and in those times, they were closing schools, they were closing businesses, they were bringing patients outside of hospitals so they can air them. They ran out of food. We're going through the same thing. However, what I'm noticing through looking at timelines, the timelines are getting shorter in between. And why is that? Well, immigration and travel. We are now intermingling everywhere, globally. We're one planet. We're a very small planet. And when I'm going to simplify this, we are being one community, one globe, one community. That's what's happening. And if you look at education, when I use the word education, growing up, when I grew up, seatbelts were not in effect. And when they came into effect, when they started putting education and they started enforcing that education by laws, the amount of people across the nation that fought that, children were going through windshields, literally flying through windshields, landing into traffic, and I don't want to go into the details, across the nation. And then they make these laws that would hold people in their seats so they don't fly out of windshields and get extracted from vehicles. But people fought that. And if you look at Sundays used to be closed. When I grew up, Sundays were closed. And when they decided to start opening Sundays and opening retail and etc., you would think the devil was coming out of the earth. Because if you listen to news talk radio, the media and so forth, it was amazing how across the nation, people were very upset at that. Putting on lights, daylight lights on vehicles. I remember my father being mad. I remember people being mad. Who's going to pay for that? Are the governments going to pay for our headlights? Which headlights in the daylight? We all know it's actually a very good practical tool. We all know that society-wise, 7 days a week, that we have different religions. We have different. Some people celebrate on Fridays. Some they celebrate on Saturday. Some they celebrate on Sunday. They all have their rights. Equality. People are spiritual, people are religious, people are atheists, it doesn't matter. But if you look at society, the intermingling now, that's why 7 days a week, that's why the headlights on vehicles so people don't car crash, that's why seatbelts so children don't get extracted from vehicles. Education brought that in. And now, the intermingling of societies, we have a globe where we talk about why pandemics. Go through the history, research all your history. A lot of pandemics come from the cleaning practice of food. A lot of them from poor nations. Some of them don't have refrigeration. Some of them don't have the cooking practices or the freezing and etc. And it's all in the conditions. Take Canada, take the United States, take the FDA, take Healthcare Canada. You take that out of the equation. You take away the sanitation processes that the meat industry have to follow, the guidelines and regulations and government laws that they have to follow. The reason why they did that, it came from education. It came then backed up by laws and where we're at today. So globally, because of world travel now, And remember the pandemic of 1918, we were 1.4 billion people. Today, we are 7.4 billion people. We have 6 more billion people in 100 years on this earth now. And now that much more people, we're now traveling more, intermingling more, immigration, etc., etc. But yet we still have standards and practices that are not governed and enforced by rules and regulations like we have in Canada and the US. So we, as a nation, as countries, got to get together with global laws so that everybody's educated on how to cut your meats properly, how to clean your meats properly, how to store your meats properly, how to refrigerate your meats properly to prevent bacterial and viruses and spreadings. That is what we need in place. That is a solution, because if you look at the pandemics, the windows are getting smaller. Our economies, what we're going through right now, we can't go through that every 15 years, every 20 years. We have a hard time going through it every 50 years, 100 years. And now if you go back now, your H1N1, your avian flu, your SARS, you go back, look at those windows. They're getting smaller. They're getting smaller. So if I have some notes in front of me, that little notes that jog my mind, because lest we forget. Why do you think that's on certain license plate, and why do you think the military said that? Those lines come from people that walk the walk. Those people that are grassroots, the ones that have actually worn the shoes. They're the ones that say, lest we forget, because they know what has happened in the past. They haven't forgotten that. How can they? But yet we keep repeating ourselves without the education. And now, look at coming into the country. We have technology now. It's going to come out where people going through machines. When I go through the airport, I prefer to go through the scanner, and it rotates around me and it scans me. Now I want those scanners to scan me for viruses. That could absolutely happen. That technology is there. You incorporate that into our airports. Anybody coming into our country will be scanned for the viruses. The technology is there. Let's use it. Let's spend our money appropriately. Let's stop the spread of future viruses, and because they are getting stronger, it's an evolution of humankind. I'm still a big man. I used to be 340 pounds like last year, and at 6'2", 340, you take me back 100 years, they probably think I'm Godzilla or King Kong. Like, evolution, men weren't 340 pounds, 6'2", 6'6", whatever we have today. We didn't have the people size back then. That's evolution. Same thing with the viruses. They evolve, they're getting stronger, they're getting bigger, they're getting more aggressive. So that's not going to change. And then with immigration, with world travel, 10 billion people, what is going to happen is that we have to educate everyone on the safe cleanliness practices of handling any food around the world. Doesn't matter the culture, doesn't matter the religion. If you take it away from Canada, all those laws, we'd be in the same situation. We'd also have viruses. We would also have these issues. But the education in place, were put in place because we had issues in the past. But now with world travel, we can't afford it no more. We cannot afford it for our health. We cannot afford it for the love of those that we cherish, our communities. We can't afford it for the economies. We can't afford it for the healthcare system. We can't afford it. But what we can afford, spending our money appropriately and going after education globally. We as a people can globally change the education, and we could all live healthy. Thank you.